my name is Ali Carter and I am the founder of Mediate UK. I'm going to talk to you today about child arrangements. So this is when you are going through a divorce or separation and you have children and you want to agree with the ex-partner what arrangements you're going to put in place for them. So one of our most experienced family mediators, Ian Lovett, has produced this ultimate guide, and please do take a look through it. It covers off most of the questions that we get asked, but I just wanted to give you a quick overview and video as well about child arrangements, because there is a lot of mistruths, uncertainty and different opinions out there. So the main factors really when you're looking at child arrangements is what is the age of the child. That is a key factor. The needs and arrangements for a 6-month-old baby are going to be completely different to the needs and arrangements of a 14-year-old teenager. So the first thing I would ask you to remember is, as the child gets older, they have more of a say in what they would like to do. You'll notice that is called child arrangements when you go to court. It's not called parent arrangements. So it's all about the child, it's child focused. If you go to court, they will be looking at the needs of the child and they will be looking at everything from a child's perspective. So if you start off in your discussions from that, I think this would work best for the child. The child needs this, all of those things, rather than what I want to see my child at weekends, or I want to spend, or what am I entitled to? When it comes to child arrangements, unfortunately, you're not entitled to anything. You have responsibility. So I'm presuming that you have parental responsibility. And if that is the case, then you have a responsibility to make sure your child grows up to be a healthy and well-rounded human being. There's certain things that come with that. If they go to, you have a say in what school they go to, you have a say in health matters, you have a say in various other things. So you don't have rights, you have responsibilities for the child. And if you can start off by looking at it from the child's perspective and being completely child focused, you're not going to go far wrong, because the best two people to sort out child arrangements are the parents. Now, I run a mediation service. I want people to come to us rather than go to court. But rather than come to us, I'd rather that actually you were able to sort it out between yourselves. So if you're struggling to come to an agreement, family mediation is one of the options. There's 11 options in total to resolve a dispute. You can find those on our website. Just search 11 options and they will come up with the blog there. And you will end up using one of those. You might even try a few before you get to going to court and using those sorts of matters. So look, child arrangements, try it between yourselves, if not family mediation. The government is currently paying £500 in vouchers towards your joint mediation session if you can't agree on child matters. So the whole push is to try to resolve this amicably. Now, why is that? Well, let's have a look. Let's say you've got a 3-year-old child and you end up going to court and the court makes an order. The first thing is the court don't know your child as well as you do as parents, so they're going to have to do some background investigations into you. They're going to delve into your lives to try and find out as much as they can before they can make an order. It's a lot of responsibility on someone who doesn't know your child. But you get an order, and then as the child starts school, that order needs changing, so you then have to go back to court because you can't agree. As they get older and they start secondary school, actually what was working on a Tuesday doesn't work anymore because they want to do a club or they want to see their friends. I mean, as they get older again, they would actually have more of a say. So much so that when they get to 16, even though they're still a child, unless they're in care or extreme circumstances, the court is not even going to hear your case because they will just go with what the child wants. As the child gets older, and there's no fixed age because every child, as we know, matures differently, but from about 10, 12 onwards, what the child wants has far more of an impact in an order that a court would make. And if you are doing it through family mediation, you can do something called child inclusive mediation, which is where a specially trained mediator can speak to your child and then, with their permission, feed back their views, wishes and hopes to you as parents to enable you to make the best decision. And sometimes, and believe me, some parents have been shocked, that can be a real eye-opener and really help you actually get to an agreement to sort out some really good arrangements for parenting your children. So what things do you need to cover? Well, you need to cover where the child is going to sleep, where and when, what's going to happen in holidays if that changes, what will happen in important days during the year, such as birthdays, Christmas, Mother's Day, Father's Day. If you've got any religious considerations, you need to take those into account, and also, about travelling abroad and how that's going to work. The bottom line is that the law says a child's best welfare is served by having a good and loving relationship with both their parents. Now, that for a court to order against that, there needs to be some extreme reasons of harm to the child. Not harm as in they're not very good, one parent isn't very good at perhaps getting the homework done, or one parent lets them play, Call of Duty, and they're only 13. Risk of severe harm. So you need to work together as parents, and that is why you're better off trying to agree between yourselves, or if not, mediation, or if not, go to one of the other dispute resolutions, rather than keep going back to court and having a court order and then going back to have it enforced. It's an awful lot of money, and believe me, it's no way to spend your lives raising your children constantly having legal battles. Most parents at some point in the child's life will end up getting sick of going back to court, sick of the lawyers, sick of the cost and the stress, and they will end up just saying, do you know what, let's just work together and we'll agree a truce and we'll just raise this child. So if you're going to do it at some point, you might as well start it now and keep £10,000, £20,000 more in your bank account. Are child arrangements made that you make between yourselves or through mediation legally binding is a question we often get asked. No, they're not. It's very difficult actually to get an order legally binding, and that's because in most cases it's not in the child's best interest, and that's because a child will change as they grow up. What works, as I say, for a 3-year-old isn't going to work for a 13-year-old. So you put something in place, you stick to it, you do it, you work together as parents if it needs changing. If you do have a court order, then that is legally binding, but you can't call the police if, your child isn't returned as per the order. You have to keep going back to court to have it enforced. So, look, if I can give you one tip on parenting when you're going through a separation or divorce, and that is, irrespective of how awful your relationship is with your ex, irrespective of the circumstances of the split, irrespective of any of the financial disagreements, if you can just try and put the parenting arrangements and agree just to work together on that one thing in your child's best interest, I promise you, you are doing more than 80% of the people who are going through a divorce or separation are able to do. And you will look back on this time and you will think, do you know what, I'm really proud of how we did that. So why not start that off with an aim? Have a read through our blog. I hope it's helpful. And you can always book in a 15-minute free consultation with us if you want to see how mediation or the £500 voucher works. Many thanks.